I had the hidden might to withstand tragedies and sorrows, but here I am, a widow, sitting quietly as tradition dictates, and I understand that I was blind for too many years. My life course has been a normal one. Daughter days, hairpinning days, rice and salt days, and now sitting quietly. So here I am alone with my thoughts and this fan before me. When I pick it up, it's strange how light it feels in my hands, for it records so much joy and so much grief. These last 40 years I have read it so many times that it is memorized like a childhood song. In its folds I see the misunderstandings, the broken trust, and the final shutting of the door. I am writing these pages for those who reside in the afterworld. Peony, my grandson's wife, has promised to make sure that they are burned at my death, so my story will reach them before my spirit does. Let my words explain my actions to my ancestors, to my husband, but most of all, to Snowflower, before I greet them again. Milk Ears. My name is Lily. I came into this world on the 5th day of the 6th month of the 3rd year of Emperor Daoguang's reign. Puwei, my home village, is in Yongming County, the county of everlasting brightness. Most people who live here are descended from the Yao ethnic tribe. Although the people of our region have never been rich, we have rarely been so poor that women had to work in the fields. We were members of the Yi family line. My father and uncle leased 7 mu of land from a rich landowner. They cultivated that land with rice, cotton, taro, and kitchen crops. My family home was typical in the sense that it had 2 stories and faced south. A room upstairs was designated for women's gathering and for unmarried girls to sleep. Rooms for each family unit and a special room for our animals flanked the downstairs main room, where baskets filled with eggs or oranges and strings of drying chilies hung from the central beam to keep them safe from mice, chickens, or a roaming pig. We had a table and stools against one wall. A hearth where Mama and Aunt did the cooking occupied a corner on the opposite wall. The floor was hard-packed earth. I've never thought much about whether I was happy. I was a so-so girl who lived with a so-so family in a so-so village. But I remember the day I began to notice and think about what was around me. I had just turned 5, and I woke up before dawn. I lay between elder sister and third sister. I glanced across the room to my cousin's bed. Beautiful Moon, who was my age, hadn't woken up yet, so I stayed still, waiting for my sisters to stir. I faced elder sister, who was 4 years older than I. Although we slept in the same bed, I didn't get to know her well until I had my feet bound and joined the women's chamber myself. The 4 of us looked very similar. We each had black hair that was cut short. We were very thin, and we were close in height. Otherwise, our distinguishing features were few. Elder sister had a mole above her lip. Third sister's hair was always tied up in little tufts because she did not like Mama to comb it. Beautiful Moon had a pretty round face, while my legs were sturdy from running and my arms strong from carrying my baby brother. "Girls!" Mama called up the stairs to us. That was enough to wake up the others and get us all out of bed. Elder sister hurriedly got dressed and went downstairs. Beautiful Moon and I were slower because we had to dress third sister as well. Then we went downstairs, where Aunt swept the floor. Uncle sang a morning song. Mama, with second brother swaddled on her back, poured water into the teapot to heat, and elder sister chopped scallions for the rice porridge we call congee. "Beautiful Moon! Lily! Come here! Come here!" My aunt greeted us this way each and every morning. We ran to her. Aunt kissed Beautiful Moon and patted my bottom affectionately. Then Uncle swept up Beautiful Moon in his arms and kissed her. After he set her back down, he winked at me and pinched my cheek. You know the old saying about beautiful people marrying beautiful people, and talented people marrying talented people? That morning I concluded that uncle and aunt were two ugly people, and therefore perfectly matched. Uncle, my father's younger brother, had bow legs, a bald head, and a full shiny face. Aunt was plump, and her teeth were like jagged stones protruding from a karst cave. Her bound feet were not very small, maybe 14 centimeters long, twice the size of what mine eventually became. I'd heard wicked tongues in our village say that this was the reason Aunt could not carry a son to term. To me, they had an ideal marriage. He was an affectionate rat, and she was a dutiful ox. Every day they provided happiness around the hearth. My mother had yet to acknowledge that I was in the room. This is how it had been for as long as I could remember. Melancholy sank into me, whisking away the joy I had just felt with aunt and uncle. Even now, after all these years, it is difficult for me to think about Mama and what I realized on that day. I saw so clearly that I was inconsequential to her. I was a third child, a second worthless girl. She looked at me the way all mothers look at their daughters, as a temporary visitor who was another mouth to feed until I went to my husband's home. I was 5, old enough to know I didn't deserve her attention, but suddenly I craved it. I longed for her to look at me and talk to me the way she did with elder brother. Grandmother tottered into the room, her back bent so far forward that she and I saw eye to eye. "Help your grandmother," Mama ordered. But Grandmother waved me away impatiently. I moved so quickly that I bumped into my father, the 11th and most important person in our household. He didn't reprimand me or say anything to anyone else. As far as I knew, he wouldn't speak until this day was behind him. After we ate, my father and my uncle set out for the fields, and my mother, aunt, grandmother, and older sister went upstairs to the women's chamber. I wanted to go with Mama and the other women in our family, but I wasn't old enough. To make matters worse, I now had to share elder brother with my baby brother and third sister when we went back outside. I carried the baby on my back as we cut grass and foraged for roots for our pig. Third sister followed us. She was 4 and a funny, ornery little thing. Once done with our chores, our little foursome explored the village, going up and down the alleys between the houses until we came across some other girls jumping rope. My brother stopped, took the baby, and let me jump too. Then we went home for lunch. Afterward, elder brother left with the men and the rest of us went upstairs. Even at that age, I enjoyed being in the women's chamber. Mama and grandmother wove cloth. Beautiful Moon and I made balls of yarn. Aunt sat with brush and ink, carefully writing her secret characters, while elder sister waited for her 4 sworn sisters to arrive for an afternoon visit. Soon enough we heard the sound of 4 pairs of lily feet come quietly up the stairs. Elder sister greeted each girl with a hug, and the 5 of them clustered together in a corner. I studied them, knowing that I would be part of my own sworn sisterhood in another 2 years. The sisterhood had been formed when the girls turned 7. To cement the relationship, their fathers had each contributed 25 jin of rice, which was stored at our house. Later, when each girl married out, her portion of rice would be sold so her sworn sisters could buy gifts for her. The last bit of rice would be sold on the occasion of the last sworn sister's marriage. That would mark the end of the sisterhood, since the girls would have all married out to distant villages where they would be too busy with their children and obeying their mothers-in-law to have time for old friendships. Mama ran out of yarn and stood up to get more. Mama's feet had been badly bound by her mother. Instead of golden lilies, Mama had ugly stumps. Instead of swaying when she walked, she balanced herself on a cane. "Isn't it time for Beautiful Moon and Lily to go outside?" Aunt asked my mother. "No," Mama said sternly. "I don't like the girls wandering around the village when they should be working at their house learning." But about this one thing my aunt was stubborn. "They have only these few months." She left unsaid that soon our feet would be bound. "Let them run while they can." My mother was exhausted.